Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello everyone. In my latest column for ThePrint, I write about a saga which has been in the news for a while. This is the story of Peng Shuai and the Winter Olympics in Beijing. The Winter Olympics are due in 2022 when the athletes will gather in Beijing for the Olympics, and this is a major event which has come around after 2008. You may have already read about Peng Shuai's disappearance and then coming back on the scene after the Chinese state was unnerved by the kind of stories that were being published in international media. Peng Shuai is a famous Chinese tennis star, and she has accused a Chinese politician named Zhang Gaoli of sexual assault, and the allegations were made last week. And now what has happened is the Chinese state media and the Chinese censors are trying to make sure that they can control the narrative which is being pushed by the outside world, and the world is asking, where is Peng Shuai? Is she safe? And are the Chinese politicians and the CCP trying to stop her from telling her story, which is an important story in China? The Me Too allegations are something that have been in the news for a while in China, especially in the case of Chris Wu and some of the other allegations about an employee at Alibaba who had accused her manager of assaulting her. And these cases have been in the news in the recent times. But in a relation, we have seen that the new allegations are against a powerful figure in China, and the party itself usually protects its own top leadership when it comes to allegations like these. And that's what has happened again when the censors in the state media try to make sure the internal sort of tension that is building up right now within China and also in the international media does not sort of reflects badly on the party itself. And that's the kind of work that the party does. They usually protect their own, especially if you are someone up there in the top leadership. And this is something that has been seen time and again in the case of other leaders as well. Both the Peng Shuai saga as well as the Winter Olympic saga tells us that China has in the past used soft power to stop its critics from being, as adversarial in the international media. This is what happened in 2008 when there was a major outbreak and protest in Lhasa, where people were not happy with Beijing's policies, and that reflected onto the 2008 Olympics, which were held in Beijing. There is more to the story of Peng Shuai, where a politician who is accused of sexual assault, Zhang Gaoli, has been part of the planning committee which is responsible for organizing the Winter Olympics in Beijing. And the politician has been actively out there, and he's been meeting the international Olympic Association leaders who have been part of the bid to bring the Olympics to Beijing. And he himself is implicated in this assault case, and he's also been part of the planning. So the whole power network within Chinese politics and the aspect of sports is quite intertwined. The current president Xi Jinping was in charge of organizing the Beijing Olympics in 2008. He was a rising figure within the party, and he is now the president of China. And the new Olympics which are coming up in 2022 are again a test for Xi Jinping. He has to ensure that the international community does not get as adversarial as it is right now, and that stops the Olympics from happening. US and UK are considering to boycott the upcoming Olympics, and if that happens, the whole soft power aspect of China's diplomacy will come to an end, and that will mark a shift in the way the world deals with China. And that's how the whole political framework has been set up in terms of China's outreach to the world. Unlike other countries where you might see the use of soft power to win friends, China tries to coerce through economic means, as we've seen in the case of Australia and other countries where they have imposed sanctions to elicit the kind of behavior or the returns that they want. And that's the type of foreign policy that China practices through MOFCOM, the Ministry of Commerce in China, which is integral part of the foreign policy and foreign policy making. And that's something now in Xi Jinping's arena, he has to make sure the Olympics do go through in 2022, at least to an extent where some of the countries do show up and the events are, in the right order. But this does not bid quite well for the long-term soft power of China in the global affairs. China has to somehow build back the kind of soft power that it has lost over the time, and we would not see return to that past kind of soft power through economic coercion, which has defined China's politics up until now.